Rogers, Director of the Institute for Mindfulness Studies, and welcome to today's broadcast of the Mindfulness Memo. Today's memo is to you from the Institute for Mindfulness Studies, date July 4th, 2009. Ray, mindfulness, liberty, and fireworks. The question presented is, how can mindfulness help you unleash your potential in the practice of law, or if you're a law student, in the study of law, and in your life in general? And to answer this question, we'll look at two juricite terms, liberty and pain and suffering. Let's begin with liberty. To do so, we'll explore one of the exercises of the Mindful Lawyer. As you may know, almost all of these exercises involve the hands, and so they're referred to as the learned hand exercises. This one begins by looking at your hands. So if you will, put your hands out in front of you, and you may find during the day your hands are in front of you while typing on the computer, right? Or reading, or talking with someone. And so this cue is always here to be accessed if you remember to do so. And so looking at your hands, pay attention in particular to your right hand and to the thumb and the joining of the thumb with the pointer finger. What letter do you see? The letter J. And so in juricite we refer to this as a reminder of jail, and how it is that from time to time when we get so caught up in what's taking place in the moment, perhaps very reactive because it's not going the way we wanted to or thought it would, we can begin to fall back on criticisms and doubts and judgments and really find ourselves trapped in the jail of our mind. Now, what do we do when this happens? Gurdjieff, the philosopher, reminds us that sometimes we don't even realize that we're in jail. But the telltale sign can be that we're feeling very afflicted, that we're feeling uncomfortable, that we're feeling an agitation. And so what we can do during these moments is a mindfulness exercise of taking a breath and allowing that breath to come from the belly, to flow along the belly, and then expanding the fingers. That is to intentionally feel the stretch as you expand your fingers, and now bring awareness to your left hand and to the joining of the thumb and the pointer finger. What letter is this? The letter L. L for liberty or liberation. And this simple exercise is a reminder that we can shift from a state of being trapped and reactive to one of being expansive and aware by bringing awareness into the body through the breath, awareness of the body by bringing our attention to our hands, and to feeling the stretch of our body with awareness. You'll see for yourself how this simple exercise might begin to transform the way you're relating to that moment, to give you that opportunity to pause, to perhaps redistribute the energy that's flowing through your body in such a way that you have a larger perspective in which to view what's taking place. Now we'll move on to the second juricite term, pain and suffering. As you probably know, many complaints can include a claim for pain and suffering as part of damages. And the idea that intuitively arises is, well, the more damages for pain, the more of a recovery for suffering as well. However, in mindfulness, this is looked at a little differently. Research has shown for many years that the extent to which we're able to embrace the pain, that is, the extent to which we're able to move into the unpleasant circumstances that arise from time to time in life, the less we suffer. That it's this distraction, it's the soothing ourselves from the unpleasant that leads to a larger and larger amount of suffering as it doesn't go away, as we tend to think about it and our thoughts proliferate around this unpleasant event. And so mindfulness says and invites you to embrace and experience and sit with the unpleasant to see what happens. And so fireworks, we separate to fire works. And in what way does fire work? Well, a great poet once said that if you want to experience the cleansing, cooling quality of the water, it's necessary to be willing to walk through the fire. That is to say that when something in your life, whether it's an uncomfortable phone call with an opposing counsel or somebody, whether it's the receiving of news about a hearing or something about a client that isn't what we want, and it begins to ruffle us or agitate us, we have the opportunity to either distract ourselves, try and soothe ourselves by engaging in some behavior that might very much be overreactive and then cause an overreaction by somebody else, or we can pause in that moment, not fall back on some conditioned, habitual way of reacting, and see if we can't bear, if we can't allow ourselves to experience that moment as it is, just as it is. The unpleasant feelings and thoughts will arise, change, and pass away. That's their nature. And if we can be there for it, then we can become this more stable force that observes as it arises, changes, and passes away. And in doing so, we can be much more equipped, much better equipped to take action in a way that isn't caught up in what happened, but rather is looking forward prospectively with insight and intuition and wisdom to what to do next. Well, this concludes today's broadcast of the Mindfulness Memo. If you'd like to learn more about the Mindfulness Memo and the Mindful Lawyer, visit the website themindfullawyer.com, or if you're a law student, the website themindfullawstudent.com. Have a terrific day.